Hi, happy Monday. Welcome to Coffee with Kim. I am Kim Bassett, your host, and I am so excited to be live back with you again. I've been traveling the last couple of Mondays, and so we've been loading things up for you. We still have great content and great guests, but today, this is a great day. We've been having a lot of our guests, and I've been talking a lot out in the community about branding and social media and all of the confusion, the frustration that we as entrepreneurs, as business owners have with this. And so today's guest, we are going to go really in depth here.
Today on Coffee with Kim, coming from Boston, Massachusetts, is Farhana Cannon. Farhana is an international speaker, trainer, and the founder of iMedia Exposure, who supports brands in attracting and converting their perfect client online. Her 17 years of in-depth marketing experience and working with numerous speakers, coaches, lifestyle, and luxury brands has allowed her to bring a unique and profitable outcome to all her campaigns. Farhana's passion for travel and business has allowed her to create a life she designs, which empowers her and her team to bring the best the world has to offer in helping her clients' businesses to grow. Farhana, welcome to Coffee with Kim.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, it is such an honor. I am been really looking forward to this because you have such huge experience and you have some really great clientele. So I want to remind everybody on here that if you have questions, this is live. The reason I do this live is so that you can have these amazing experts like Farhana here who you can ask questions to. So definitely take advantage of that. But before we go into a great conversation, Farhana, tell them a little bit more in depth about who you are.
Hi, everyone.
Sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Farhana Cannon. I'm a global social media and brand strategist and the founder of iMedia Exposure. So I've been helping brands attract and convert their perfect client online for the last 10 years now. And so I really love helping entrepreneurs achieve their dreams and share their story online.
Oh, my goodness. So as a brand, specialist, social media, what are some of the things that, because you're talking to the people themselves, right? The customers. And how do you go, what are you finding the biggest issues are?
So I think that consistency and actually being able to share your brand story is where people kind of have a disconnect. You're busy as an entrepreneur doing the things that you do with your client, running your business, and social media is a great way for you to grow your brand awareness. However, it's another thing to do. And I think that, I would say outsource it, definitely outsource it so that if it's not something you love, if it's not something that comes naturally to you, like don't exert the energy on that. But if you do want to take it on as something that you're doing yourself, definitely create a content calendar. Create a strategy of what you're going to be talking about. Don't just like haphazardly post. Really kind of figure out what the strategy is and how you're going to share your brand story. People love to connect like authentically with people and with brands. And even some of the largest brands now, what they're doing is showcasing more of that, like that human connection with their brand, with their core values, their values of their customers, things like that. And that's really important. Some people think, okay, we're just going to post the things that we're selling on our social media and all of these people are going to buy. And, that's just really not the case because there's, millions of people trying to do the same thing. And so there has to be some strategy behind it. And social media isn't just for your catalog. Your website is for your catalog. It's for your products and services. You definitely want to talk about your products and services on social media, but you need to do it in a more storytelling fashion where you're giving expert tips, where you're sharing behind the scenes, testimonials, things like that. So people can really understand like what your brand is about and those values, those core values that you may have, or, people love inspirational quotes. And so if your company is really about integrity, for example, or achieving your dreams, following your passion, things like that, those are exciting things that people can like really get behind regardless if they buy from you or not.
Okay. You've already got people watching and blowing up the comments, and we do have a question on here. So I'm going to show some of the comments we have. So we have people saying that this is great. Hi, ladies. Happy Monday. Great to see you too. Bring it, Farhana. Get after it today, Kim. And great question here. It says, is it better to brand yourself or your business first? That's a great question.
Yeah, and so it really depends on what type of business you have. If you are that expert, if you're a consultant, a coach, something of that area, a speaker, an author, you definitely want to showcase your personal story, your personal brand. I would always suggest doing two. So one is your personal, where your friends and
Okay.
your family are going to follow, and you can add some business stuff on there. Because I definitely get business inquiries from people that I've known for like tons of years, and they're like, hey, we're doing this thing now. We need your help. We see that you're doing this. And so it's good to let people know what you're doing. And so on your bios, make sure that you have your company information on there so people can like click and learn more. They may not feel comfortable just reaching out to you and be like, hey, I kind of understand what you do. I kind of don't understand. So like let people be clear about what that is. When it comes to your business, though, I would suggest having a separate business page for various reasons, for advertising, for tracking your analytics. But having your business page, people know that if they're going to follow that page, it's going to be about your business. And so we don't want to overwhelm people with only business things on our personal pages, but definitely letting people know. And if you are that person, like if you are the business, your intellectual property, that kind of stuff, you want to showcase those components. So on my business page, I do incorporate parts of my actual life. And I might post a picture of me in Dublin or me in Thailand or something, but I probably have my computer there. I'm probably working too, and it's great content to show people, like, you can have a digital nomad lifestyle if you choose to. So I would say do both, and it depends. Like if you're like, oh, I can only manage one, then I would probably do a business page so that you can really promote your business and drive traffic there.
So if someone is managing your social media and you are, doing the lives, right? We keep hearing, oh, you have to go live, you have to, be the face. How can you do both of that if somebody else is managing it?
Well, put it in your content calendar. So maybe it's every Monday that you're going to go live and have the topic. So, for example, if you're going to talk about branding this week, your live can be about branding, and then you can have the content. Maybe you take your live and break it down into different pieces. So, if you're like, okay, these are the 3 tips that I'm going to give today, and you talk about it and explain it more in depth, then maybe your posts for the rest of the week are going to take bite-sized pieces of that, like one sentence, one quote, one statistic, one tip, one trick, like, and have that be what the content is going to be for that. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to give everything every day. It's like you give a little bit every day, and you kind of give your tips and share your story.
Okay. So do you have any of your clients that are like, Farhana, I'm scared to death. I cannot go live. I just freeze. I don't know what to say or do. How do you coach them through that?
So I have a ton of clients that are nervous about doing that, and I think that if you're probably under 30, you're used to doing the whole social media thing. If you're not, then it takes something to get out there and go live. So a couple of tricks is to script your thing. Like maybe it is fully scripted and you use a teleprompter on your computer screen. So you're recording and you're going live, but then you have your teleprompter going, and I would say practice that teleprompter before going live, but that's like, you're reading it. It's easy,
Yeah.
you can do that. Or maybe some people, it's better for them to use photos and videos in PowerPoint and also go live with that, so that you have cues, and maybe you have visuals that will be more impactful and help telling the story. So that's another way. And then another way is just to have your notes. So these are the 3 tips. Maybe time it where you're going to talk about a specific topic for 2 minutes, and let that timer kind of go off on your phone. Or maybe it's just a stopwatch and you have it propped up against your computer, or maybe you're going live on your phone and you're keeping track of the time that way. It's everyone goes live and says whatever. So the insecurities and all of that stuff, like, just throw that out the window, because quite frankly, people are going to think something's great and something's not great about anything that you do. And so might as well get out there and share your brand message, because you will help people. When I first started speaking on stages, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm like an extroverted introvert. So like, I'm completely happy, like, kind of in my own little bubble. But that's just not how the world works. You need to get out there and share your brand story and talk about your business and help people, so that you can grow your business. And my business coach asked me, well, why do you do what you do? And I said, I love helping people grow their business. And he goes, okay, are you committed to growing your business? And I said, yes. And he goes, you can do that at a quicker pace for more people if you go and speak in front of hundreds of people. And it's the same concept of, maybe you're not live in front of the people, but you're live in front of the hundreds of people on social media. And so it's like, what is your drive to do this? Why do you do what you do? And if your goal is to help people, then go out there and help people. And if your goal is to grow your business and you're committed to that, then go and do it. And what I do is, for live events, is I'll make friends with people beforehand and ask them about their business and give examples during my talk. So I'm not scared anymore, because it's like, oh, I know Michael here. I know Kim here. Like, I know, Christine here. So it's like, I'm talking to my friends.
Yeah, you know what? That is one of the best ideas I have ever heard, honestly, on speaking and getting over that fear of going ahead of time and making friends with people and in connecting with them. That is a brilliant idea. I love that. You have some more questions. It says, what is your thoughts on the best social media outlets for business, or does it depend on the business? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah, so I would suggest definitely being on Facebook. It's one of those places that has the most followers, as well as YouTube. YouTube has the most followers. So creating your video content for your website, for your social media, but putting it on YouTube as well, having descriptions of all your products and services on there, your testimonials, things like that on YouTube, and then you can put them on other platforms. For your videos, I would suggest putting them into the social media platform as is. So since they all own different things, if you post a video onto Facebook directly, you will get more views than posting the link of the YouTube on there of that same video.
Yeah.
I definitely suggest Instagram. Instagram has the highest return on investment. So the amount of time that you spend on there, it definitely gives you the opportunity to connect one-on-one with people and find people the easiest. And find the right person. And you can literally look at somebody's profile and say, okay, this person looks like my target demographic. It looks like the avatar that I've created as that perfect person. It may or may not be, but at least you can see some of people's story that way. TikTok has a great growth rate, but it's definitely, everyone's using it, but it's definitely a younger demographic. So if you are, targeting millennials, if you're targeting Gen Zs, that's definitely a place you want to be on. Twitter is another platform. I don't particularly focus that much on Twitter. It's more of a platform that if you want to continuously have conversations with people, you can grow your brand that way, but it takes actual engagement on a consistent basis to really grow and build on that. um, LinkedIn for business, if you are working with other business people. And quite frankly, like, we're all on all of these platforms. So if somebody's like, oh, well, this person's not on Instagram, it's like, well, are you on Instagram? Then they're probably on Instagram too. Maybe they're not using it for business, but maybe they're using it for personal. But that if they're your target demographic, you can still find them from a personal one-on-one way. So I post out to all of the platforms daily for all of our clients, and we create a little bit of different messaging for the different platforms. It definitely depends on like what your goal is. So for example, if there's an industry, I was just speaking at another event, and this woman created a virtual paralegal program, and so she helps law offices outsource some of the things that they can't manage in-house. And, I suggested for her to really focus on connecting with people that have law offices on LinkedIn and reaching out to them and just sending them a message and letting them know about the products and services and trying to set up a one-on-one conversation. Social media is about building that relationship. People think like, oh, I'm just going to post something, people are going to buy all my things. And that's just really not how anything works. If you want to build a relationship with people, connect with them online, talk to them online. You wouldn't go up to somebody at a networking event and say, hi, I'm Farhana, buy my product. It's like building that rapport, getting comfortable. And that's how you want to do that on social media too. Like, engage with people, figure out what their needs are, their wants are, what they need help with. I have a mastermind group that Kim is a part of. And this mastermind group is really great because we support each other and we build relationships with one another, and we refer business to one another. If somebody needs a resource, we provide that for one another. And it's Zoom. We do it on Zoom, so it's not necessarily a social media platform, but I definitely invite people into the group to build rapport so that, we can help each other out and refer business to one another. And when you're staying in constant contact with people, you get to know them, you get to know their business, you get to know them on a personal level, you get to trust them so that you feel confident in saying, oh, okay, this person's a resource that I'm gonna, help other people connect with.
Yeah, I have to say, our mastermind, you have put together you attract some really amazing people, and who I really do, you have created this space for all of us to support one another, right? And to continue to bring more people in. And I want to speak, just back up a little bit when you're talking about that connection and that rapport. I'm definitely committed to doing the LinkedIn more. But I just had people who are doing just like you said, hello, buy my stuff, right? When people engage with me on LinkedIn and some of the other platforms, I want them to say, hey, I'm so-and-so, what is something in your business or with you that I can serve or I can help, right? And it's making that connection and that service oriented. And I respond back to those immediately, say, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Thank you, right? And it's that connection and how can I support one another? So definitely glad that you brought that one up.
Yeah, or the people that send you the spam emails when it's like, hey, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, what are you even asking me for? Like, you're sending me these emails, you want to talk, you want my time, but I'm not even quite sure how you can help me, and I'm not quite sure who you even are. So
Yes.
it's like this awkward, like, why are you messaging me so much? And, there's definitely different strategies to go about that. But even engaging with somebody, and if they write something about their business, congratulations, that's fantastic. Like, I love what the work that you're doing. Somebody writes a quote, somebody gives a tip, share your feedback with them on the post and connect with them. And, you know, and all of our clients and my friends, I always try to make sure I like all of their stuff. And, you can support people's businesses without having to, if you don't need their services, you can still support one another's businesses and acknowledge people.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's really important to do.
No, I really believe that too, because we do need that support. I was trying, I'm putting my on, several of the platforms, and I needed to unlock some things on YouTube, right? And I really hadn't pushed subscriptions. I hadn't pushed those things. And I was just so focused on helping my guests, helping people who were watching, that I didn't know I needed all of that, right? And so, coming out and asking for that, I was so grateful for the huge response and the support I got on that. And so now I was able to unlock some of that customization. And so I'm still learning in this process. My daughter's like, Mom, you need to up your game on Instagram. So yesterday she took me to a cafe, and she's like, okay, Mom, you need to do this and do this and do this. So our kids and our family and friends can definitely help us too.
Yeah, for sure. Every opportunity, any place that you are, that's a part of your life, that's a part of your story, and it's, a possible photo shoot. Like, I try not to be super annoying to get like a million photo shoots everywhere I go, but like, that's content that you can use to share a piece of you. And people like that. They like to see like you're a real human being and you have a family. Of course, on your business pages, don't put a million pictures of your family and your dogs or your pets. Like, that's overboard. But like, add them, because if that's a component of your life, people want to be like, oh, I have a dog too, or oh, I have two daughters too, or it's a way to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. So one of the things, I'm just going to quickly bring this up to see if there's something here that kind of pops out at you. I just, there's a lot of people that watch, they're kind of like statistic people. So I try to, as the teacher in me, I try to kind of get, all the variety of people. And there's some statistics that came out this year. And it says it takes 5 to 7 impressions for people to remember a brand. And it says color improves brand recognition up to 80%. 73% of consumers love brand because of helpful customer service. Presenting a brand consistently across all platforms can increase revenue by 23%. And 1/3 of the top 100 brands include the color blue in their logos. 72% of the best brand names are made up of words or acronyms, which you've talked to me about. Brands with poor company branding pay 10% higher salaries, which that's interesting. Over 70% of brand managers consider building an audience more important than converting sales. Wow. 89% of shoppers stay loyal to brands that share their value, and brands that are blog generate 67% more leads. Do you agree with most of these, or what do you think?
Yeah,
Or what?
so 5 to 7 impressions. I always say this when I'm speaking for people to actually do business with a brand. You look at anything, like if you are on a web page, within 5 to 7 seconds, if that web page doesn't speak to you, if you don't get it, if it's hard to use, you're off. Social media pages, if something doesn't catch your eye, you don't find it interesting, you don't find it attractive, you're gone. And you're not going to remember it. And then if the platforms are the same, you help with people remembering who you are, remembering what you're about. I hadn't heard the one that companies with poor branding pay more. But if you think about it, people want to be associated and work with brands that are well known, and they all have good branding. And so people are more attracted to that, even from an employee standpoint. So I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Okay.
And then the colors are super important. Like, colors actually represent so much. Like, you can look at, that's why we have art museums in every city around the world. People feel something when they see colors, when they see color combinations. And so when we're doing branding, we're always looking for what colors are going to work for that person, the owner of the brand what's going to look good on them, because we want to make sure that we have photos and things like that of them with those colors and on the branding and on the website. And then what's going to resonate with your actual target demographic, like what's going to have them look at your branding, your messaging, your aesthetic and say, okay, this is my problem and that is a solution, and they're making me feel that is a solution just in the colors. And then obviously the messaging, and that when you go into more aesthetic. And then too, like, there's specific industries that utilize different colors, and there's specific colors that will evoke negative and positive emotions. Like we're trained as babies, we see colors and we play with colors and we draw, and you're matching things. And so color plays a big role in your branding. Having good quality consistent branding that really looks professional will help make a decision. Like a company that has like a good brand message, there's been so many products where I've bought because I'm like, oh, their branding is fantastic. Their marketing is fantastic. They really get me. They really get my problem. And I'm just going to buy it because I just love the way it looks. And even aesthetically, like, even with Apple, their kind of whole thing was this clean aesthetic. They brought the different colors in and all of that stuff. And people do buy things because they're like, oh, I want that. That's why there's all different car colors. People want different colors. It makes them feel a certain way. So I think that that's really important when you're considering what you're posting too. And, my big thing is having the aesthetic of your Instagram particularly. So we post the same post on all of the different platforms. So if we're posting today at 10 o'clock, it's going out to all of the platforms. It's going to be the same post. Maybe the hashtags and the captions a little bit different, but it's going to be the same post. And I always use Instagram as my base because I want to make sure, because it's a grid format and it's very visually inspired. And so I want to make sure that the layout of the colors of what we're posting look nice and look consistent. And I'm not saying you have to do only your brand colors on your posts, because, maybe you go somewhere or you're showcasing a client and they have different colors than you. You can totally use different colors, but making sure that you wouldn't want to be like, okay, we're going to do red and orange, and then we're going to go to lime green and blue, and then it's just going to look like too much. Unless you're doing a whole like rainbow thing, you want to, on your Instagram feed, make sure the colors are the same color story, at least for 9 images. And I don't like to put much words next to words. I try to mix it up. So I try to do like a human, then a tip, then a video, then so I try to mix up the kinds of content that go next to each other too, so that when somebody's not just looking at their news feed, when they're actually on your page, it looks consistent. And that's another component of like that visual aesthetic that people will be drawn to.
Okay, so tell us what your links are, because then you can go and really see what it should be. You've been starting to help me with that a little bit, and so I'm trying to change all of that. Some of the stuff I can't change on Instagram. Like I said, I have a lot to learn. So I'm really grateful for you coming on and sharing this. So what are some of the links that because I did not put those in, because these are great points. So I want to make sure we get that.
Yeah, everyone can find me at iMedia Exposure on any platform. That's another thing too. I have the same handle on every single platform. So, for example, if somebody tags at iMedia Exposure on Instagram posts and they automatically upload it to Facebook, my Facebook business page will get tagged when they're putting it to Facebook automatically through an Instagram post, because my handles are the same. So I highly suggest trying to claim the same handle for all of your platforms.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. You have given so many. Is there something else, because we really were talking about attracting that ideal client. So as we kind of start wrapping this up a little bit, what is that top 3 things or the top 1 thing that's like, oh my gosh, if anybody gets anything out of this today to contact me, this is it?
So definitely knowing who your target demographic is. So being very clear about it and being very specific about this. So if you could build your own like avatar, your own like robot, like be really specific. And of course, you'll have other people that are going to buy, but have 5 really specific people. And your perfect person, your secondary perfect person, third could be like a niche group, your fourth could be partnerships, and your fifth could be like influencers. But really be specific on what those people look like. So even a 5-year gap. So people are like, oh yeah, people from like 20 to 50. And I'm like, the people from 20 to 50 all have very different buying habits and different places that they hang out online and in life in general.
Yep.
So you want to be specific on who those people are and then figure out what brands do they like. If you're a local business, maybe there's 5 other businesses that are local that people would like them and you. Maybe you are looking up your competitors and looking for specific people that are like-minded businesses. So maybe you want to connect it with those groups and those types of people that are following those pages. So it's being very clear on who these people are, what types of industries they're in, and how to find them on social media, and then going and having conversations with them, liking their photos, commenting on their photos, reaching out to them, offering them something of value. So, we offer them to come join our mastermind. They're going to get value, or maybe it's like a free event that we're doing that we find that they'll have value. Maybe we want them to be a guest on our podcast. So there's ways to connect with people where you're offering them some value so that they'll want to talk to you and carry on the conversation.
Okay, awesome. I have to say, if you go to imediaexposure.com, her website is amazing. It's got all these different values and these links that you can go to. So I highly recommend going to her. She is, like I said, a vast amount of experience. So thank you, Farhana, so much for coming on. Any last words?
Yeah, thank you so much. If any one of you are listening right now and you feel like you're struggling, you're like, okay, those are great tips, but I don't really know if I'm doing it right, feel free to go to my website and schedule a complimentary strategy session. We'll take a look at your social platforms, take a look at your website, and kind of go over some tips on like what you could do to improve or how you could better capture your market share. So that's on my website. There's a social media style guide that's a free downloadable. There's also a little membership area where there's a bunch of tips and tools, a lot of the tools that I use to post and, different things to save you time and energy already curated on there.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for today. Farhana is a wealth of knowledge. Definitely, I cannot stress enough to reach out to her. Go to imediaexposure.com. Like I said, she just said there's so much value there. Thank you, Farhana, for all the tips you gave us today. I know I have gained so much from this and looking to improve my own branding here on Coffee with Kim. You guys have a great day.